they were doing the Stardust units tier list, so you guys can know what you guys should summon for in the special summons. Big shout to my man TJ Plays Bed Wars for suggesting this video on my stream. Make sure you guys tune in if you guys need help on any Astd raids. All right, starting off, we have Alexis, or also known as Alice from SAO Alicization. She's a decent story mode unit, but unfortunately her story mode damage doesn't go super hard, so I'm gonna have to drop her in the C tier, guys. She's not utterly trash, but there's definitely better units out there. Next up, we have Broly Super 2. So this is the 6-star version of the Broly from the summons. All right, he is currently unobtainable, but he should be coming back very, very soon. Now the problem with him, guys, is he's mainly a story mode unit, and he's actually not that bad for the hell rate. All right, he is a little bit on the pricey side for sure, but you could definitely get away with him, guys, on the hell raid. So maybe you want to give him a shot. So I'm gonna put him in the C tier. I'm gonna give him slightly more than her, because he's actually really, really useful for that hell raid, except for his price being a little sus. Next up, we have the 6-star version of Diavolo. So I think this is based on Doppio Shadow or something like that. All right, now the thing about him is he is a very cheap to place, but he's a little bit expensive to upgrade. All right, so he's definitely a story mode unit. All right, you can easily max him out, and he's doing a decent amount of bleed, but the bleed is definitely kind of mid, so I don't really recommend using him, guys. Definitely evolve him to Diavolo. So I'm gonna probably say he's a solid C tier unit. All right, which it makes sense considering you're supposed to evolve him, guys. Next up, we have Metal Cooler's 2nd version. Now this guy is mainly an infinite mode unit, unlike Metal Cooler, so he's actually slightly different. Now the thing that makes him, the problem with him is his damage just isn't that high, but it's not bad either. So with Irwin buff, guys, and max level, if you take a look here, guys, his damage is going to be 697,000 DPS. So that's actually fairly low for TPS, but it's not bad. So for infinite mode, I'm gonna probably give him maybe like B tier. Like, he's definitely good for infinite mode, but not as much for story mode. So we'll give him C tier for now. We might adjust that in a second. Next up, guys, we have Erasure 6-star. Now he's actually an end unit, all right, like Alexei, but the thing about him is he stuns. So if you need a stun unit, he's decent, but the problem is most people don't need a stun unit, but he's actually a decent unit. His damage is a little bit less than these two, but he's way cheap. I definitely say he's good for the hell raid. I'm gonna give him a B tier. I don't really think he's a good idea to summon for specifically, but you can probably get away with him. He might even be worth it to evolve, but again, not really my favorite unit. I'd probably pass on him, but you can definitely use him if you need help for the hell raid to get Diavolo. Then again, I think you need to do the hell raid to get him in the first place, so he's kind of a mid unit. In fact, I'm probably just gonna put him in the C tier, guys. He's just not that great. But also, I don't think Cooler's that great either, so I think this is probably more accurate. All right, next up, guys, we have this Ichigo. Now, he's really good against grass enchants, because I believe they gave him... Wait, which element did they give him? Oh, I had the wrong one. He's really, really good for story, guys. He's very, very cheap, and he has very, very high damage for his cost, so I'm going to give him B tier, guys. Honestly, I would still evolve it, but if you get a second one, keeping him here is not a bad option. All right, next up we have Gohan 6-star. All right, now definitely evolve Gohan into the 7-star. He's very good for infinite mode, but the 6-star is okay for infinite mode. His DPS is, you know, not the greatest. It's actually worse, but he does gain more DPS, so he's technically better than Cooler, so I'll give him B tier. All right, because I do believe he still gains damage as the waves go on, like the other forms of Gohan. All right, next up, guys, we have Zoro F2, so 6-star Zoro. Now 6-star Zoro is a very, very good unit, guys, for the hell raid. The problem with him, though, is his damage is not the greatest, but factory and Irwin buff, etc., he's doing 665k bleed, which is actually fairly spicy, with a nice AoE cone and okay range. So you can definitely use him for the nature raid. I definitely would rather use him over Erasure for the nature raid, for hell raid. So I'll give him there. And plus his raid is really easy to do, and I don't even think you need to do his raid. So all right, next up, guys, we have Magma Marine. Now unfortunately, guys, Magma Marine, he used to be the best burn unit in the game, but now we have Nezuko. So under no circumstances should you want to get him. So he is an okay unit, guys. So B tier. He used to be leaderboard meta, but now just use Nezuko instead. So I don't ever recommend summoning for him on purpose. Just go get Nezuko. All right, next up, guys, we have Diavolo. He is cracked out for infinite mode, guys. S tier if you're doing leaderboard runs. But the thing is, I'm going to actually drop him into A tier. The reason being, he's really only good for leaderboard runs. So unless you're doing that, I don't really think you should get him. So the average player probably, and you only need one of him on your team. And he's not even that good of a bleed unit anymore. So it is what it is. Next up, guys, we have Mochi. I'm gonna give Mochi, like, he's like a worse version of Blackbeard now. Like, he's just like, I'm gonna give him C tier, all right? Raku is actually very, very good, guys, for story mode, especially I believe Marine HQ. Definitely go with him. A good look right there. All right, next up we have Monkey King 5-star. Now Monkey King 5-star is trash. D tier, don't use him. But Monkey King 6-star, on the other hand, is a decent-ish unit. He has the Holy Enchant though, which I don't really recommend getting. So I'm gonna give him like I would probably stay away from him, guys. I'm gonna honestly say D tier. Do not summon for this guy. I don't think they should ever really bother bringing him back. All right, next up we have the Soul Snatcher 6-star. All right, she's actually a decent-ish unit. She's electric, so it makes her good for Marine HQ and some of the raids, and she has some crazy range, and she's very, very, very cheap. So she's honestly an underrated unit, guys. I'm gonna give her a B tier. She's a decent unit. I kind of disrespected her, but you know what? She's actually, you know what? She's not that bad, guys. All right, I've definitely seen worse units. Next up, we have Ace. Ace is straight up crack, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give Ace high A tier. The only reason I'm giving it A tier is because of Nezuko. Now, the 5-star version of Ace is very good as well. Solid B tier. But definitely try to evolve it if you can. Very, very cracked out unit. Next up, guys, we have one of my favorite. I'm gonna say Android. It depends on what raid you're doing. So I'm gonna have to give him A tier. I mean, honestly, I don't know. He's tough, man. He's one of the best hybrid units in the game. Personally, I think everybody should get him. So I'm gonna give him A tier only because he's not technically leaderboard meta, but he's really, really good for every single raid. So if you can get him, I would definitely get him. Very, very useful. Vegu Mine, unfortunately, guys, got a massive nerf. You know, everybody knows about it. This was probably months ago now. So for that reason alone, I don't recommend anybody get him. He's just basically a worse version of Yugi. So just please don't get him. Until we get a cracked out money unit, he's gonna be trash. All right, next up, guys, we have Vegu Alternative. Now, Vegu Alternative was only in the banner for a tiny bit of time. And the problem with him is he's more of an infinite mode unit. And he's supposed to get an evolution into Gogeta, which is the thumbnail for this video. But until that happens, I would say he's better than Cooler. But that's not really saying much. All right, next up, guys, we have Aberai, but it's the Aberai 5-star. So, actually, we'll just do the 6-star first. The Aberai 6-star is Renki Bankai from Bleach. All right, he's an okay unit. He's good for Marine Raid. I tried him out in Marine Raid, and it was honestly fairly decent. It wasn't really my go-to, though. I'm gonna give him maybe like low. I'm gonna give him B tier. He's not bad, but not great. His 5-star version, though, is unfortunately, oh my gosh, he's not the greatest. He's super cheap, but like, I'm gonna be honest, if you're spending Stardust for a unit, don't spend it for him. I'm gonna have to give it D tier. All right, Alexis 5-star, guys, hard pass. Please don't get it. All right, I'd honestly probably go like, yeah, maybe the 6-star first. This is a 6-star. All right, next up, guys, let's go through to Broly 5-star. Now, Broly 5-star, unfortunately, did definitely get a little bit more on the disrespected side. The problem with him is his damage is low, and he's more of a story mode unit. Now, you could actually get away with him maybe for the Hell Raid, but he's not great for the Hell Raid. So for that reason, we're going to give him D tier. All right, he's better than some of the other units, but not the greatest. All right, next up, guys, we have Android 17 5-star. All right, or I guess his name is Bot 17. Now, he has the same problem as the other units. I'm gonna give him C tier, though. He's actually better than a lot of these guys. He's like as good as some of these guys. His damage is actually a little bit underrated, but the problem is He's just not, his range is just way too low at the start to be useful. So he's all right, but I would definitely try to evolve him as soon as possible. Gohan, I'm gonna give Gohan A tier. He's okay to summon for. The only reason I'm giving him A tier, guys, is because of Ichigo. All right, Ichigo's stats are just way better. Now, Erasure 5-star is a hard pass, D tier. Metal Cooler is a hard pass, D tier. All right. One of the better D tier units, though. Ichigo Half Mask is underrated. I'm going to give him C tier. Decent damage. All right. Gohan 6-star. He's not the greatest either. I'm going to give him like, is he on the 6-star? Yeah, I'm going to say I would probably pass on this guy as well, but we'll give him C tier. He's not the worst thing in the world. He's cheap. You could probably use him for story mode. All right, next up we have Zoro 5-star. The F version, not the OG version. That is even worse. The nice thing about him is he's bleed, but unfortunately his bleed does not go very high. So because the bleed does not go very high, he's stuck in the C tier, but still not the worst thing in the world. Magma Marine, I'm gonna give him C tier because he's decent for new players for story mode, but he's more of an infinite mode unit, kind of a pass. All right, we got Mochi 5-star. All right, Mochi 5-star is also a hard pass, guys. Not really recommended. He is actually a very, very cheap slow unit, though. But the problem is his SPA is 10. So it's like, So I'm going to give him C tier because he's a slow unit, but don't really use him. All right, next up, guys, we have the weaker version of Raku. All right, weaker version of Raku, D tier, don't get. All right, we have Zoro, the 7-star. Now, the problem is he's no longer the best bleed unit, but he does hit bleed airs. So that is pretty nice. And because he hits bleed airs, that means you can use him with Nezuko. So that might mean he might be meta soon. All right, so I'm going to give him A tier. He's okay, but he's only good for one specific leaderboard. So for that reason, I'll keep him in A tier for now. All right, Soul Snatcher 5-star is a solid C tier unit. Not too bad. Vegu, I'd pass on Vegu. All right, Vegu Alternative is also kind of more of a pass unit. Metal Cooler, guys, you already know. Busted OP for every single raid. Mochi is meta for most things. You can maybe get away with him in story mode too. Blue Vegu is underrated, guys. I like Blue Vegu a lot because I probably could go in this order, though, to be honest. Yeah, I like this order better. He's also good in story mode as well. Underrated. I remember we were doing the Winterfell raid. He was cracked. Now, Broly, I'm going to be honest. Broly's still good, but I'm gonna have to drop him into the A tier. I don't think I would get him like 5th place. So this is mostly the order, guys. I would try to get the units in if you can, but again, I know that a lot of the Stardust banner is RNG. And also, guys, we are getting a new Stardust banner very, very soon. All right, so the Stardust banner, guys, is supposed to be coming up next Friday, so make sure you guys save up your Stardust. And if you guys want to know how I made all of the Stardust right here, guys, you can see I'm at 6,000 Stardust. Go watch this video.